Hi boys and girls, it's Mrs. Radon. I've had a couple questions about the first story in the reading packet that you just received. And the first story is called The Fish and the Whale. An observer who stood on the shore saw a sight she had not seen before. In a boat with a sail were a fish and a whale, wearing clothes that they bought at a store. Boys and girls, this is called a limerick, and a limerick is part of poetry. And what makes this a limerick is that the first, second, and last line of a limerick rhyme. So for example, shore, before, and store all rhyme. You have your first line, your second line, and your fifth line. The two middle lines, the third and the fourth line, rhyme. In a boat with a sail were a fish and a whale. Sail and whale rhyme. So right away, I know that this is a limerick. Once again, because the first line, the second line, and the fifth line rhyme. The third and the fourth line rhyme. A limerick only consists of 5 lines. However, you could have more than one stanza in a limerick. And a stanza is basically another word for a paragraph. So if you look at the rest of the poem, there is another 5-line stanza. The whale wore a large dress that was white, and the fish had a hat, what a sight. They started to giggle and bounce with a wiggle. The observer just laughed in delight. Again, you have your second stanza that starts with the whale wore a large dress that was white. White, sight, and delight rhyme. That's the first, second, and fifth line. Then you have the third and fourth line that rhyme. Giggle and wiggle. So again, boys and girls, this is a stanza. It's like a paragraph. But in poetry, we call it a stanza. So that is a 5-line limerick stanza. And in this poem, since there are 5 lines up here and 5 lines down here, this poem has 2 stanzas. And each stanza is made up of a limerick. Now you have to think, what is the point of view of the writer on this poem? What does the writer feel about the fish and the whale? And I believe there are some clues in here to help you. And remember, the observer is the one who is watching the fish and the whale, right? An observer who stood on the shore saw a sight she had not seen before, right? So an observer is someone who sees, right? Sight means you can see it. Those are your clues. All right, boys and girls, read the poem again and see if you can figure out the questions. Text me your answers. Bye.